Another Thursday night. PK here from Adventures in Dirt, coming to you on Relics Radio. Another Thursday night. Got my buddy Tony with me. What's up, Tony?
Good morning, sir. Wait. Sorry. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Cheerio.
Cheers.
Cheers. I won't use some of the other language we heard over there.
That's for the uncut version of Relics Radio. Yeah, that's for Friday nights.
Right, after hours version. How are you, man? How you feeling?
I'm beat still. I cannot get the sleeping thing back. I will tell you, yeah. I thought it was easier coming back than it was going out.
Absolutely.
In terms of sleeping.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm still waking up like it's noon, and it's 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm ready to rock and roll. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep, it's strange, man. The whole time change thing, you go into it thinking that it's not gonna affect you so much, and it's like, you know what, I kind of get up early anyways and all that stuff, and boy, it really zapped you on the way out, doesn't it?
It did. It was tough, but you know what? We'll work through it, right? I mean, come on. Do you want to have to deal with that and complain about it, or do you really want to go over there and experience it? I mean,
we didn't complain. Yeah, we didn't complain about it at all. We struggled right through it. I mean,
yeah.
We had 2 big days planned for ourselves when we hit ground. Like, it was not hit ground and let's go get some to eat and rest and then take a nap. No.
Yeah, and those that are listening right now, we're talking about our recent trip to England. We just got back on, what day did we even get back? I don't even know.
Saturday the 18th.
Okay, Saturday, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Saturday, yeah.
That's what tonight's show is going to be about. We're going to talk a lot about metal detecting in England.
Yep, yeah, metal detecting in England. Tony and I went for 12 days. How many days were we there?
We were there a while, but
10,
we had
12 days.
Let's see. We came on 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe 11 days.
11 days, yeah.
Ish. Yeah.
2 of them were touristy days, and the rest were hardcore detecting days.
Hardcore. We got lots of stories about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we do. We went over there. What was the name of the group we went over there with? It was called Metal Detecting Holidays in England.
Yep.
Colchester Metal Detecting Club that we are both members of over there.
We are. Yep. Officially.
And yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool experience. I went in 2020. So with the same group, so I kind of knew what to expect, but I hadn't done the touristy thing too much and stuff. So I was really, when you said you wanted to do that, I was really up for that because I knew seeing that stuff is just amazing, right? Like seeing some of that stuff around as a tourist is just stuff you can't see here. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I think with our background, our hobby, our interests of really history.
Yeah.
In my opinion, walking around, say, Tower of London, I think we have a different appreciation than somebody who's just coming over there from Japan and they want to go see Tower of London. They're going to have a different experience than what we have. And when we're walking through it, I know we're going to get into a lot of the details and stuff, but we're walking through the portion where they're holding the prisoners, and there's etchings in the wall from those prisoners that are dating back to, what was it, 1500s?
Yeah. We're just geeking out.
Oh my gosh. People are probably looking at us going, what a bunch of morons.
Yeah, we're feeling it. We're like looking at the stuff, we're just like totally aghast by that.
Can you believe this?
Right. Like we were just shocked by everything we were seeing like that, taking everything. I'm surprised we even made it through that because everything was catching our eye and everything was looking at the littlest things. We'll definitely get into that. It was the most impressive part. Not the most impressive part, but one of the things that they get a little bit of attention, but I don't know, man, it fascinated me to no end. And we have something similar here in the States, but it's the Queen's Guard.
Yep.
those guys that stand out there, I thought the first guy I saw, thought he was a mannequin of a Queen's Guard.
Yeah. No
and
expression.
then I saw him move. And I saw just little tiny waver. And I was like, oh my God, that's actually a guy just standing there completely still, Then I wanted to just talk to him, I was just like, man, how do you stand there for that long, perfectly still? And they do get to move and stuff. But I thought that was so impressive, discipline to do that. And I don't know too much about them. Like, if it's a great honor for them to be able to do that and stuff. I heard it is, but
yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, so
let's check in with the live chat.
Yeah, who's all coming in to join us?
We've been off for a little bit, so the live chat is a little bit, it's been a couple of weeks, but we have a lot of people here already. Mr. Bill Hayes was in first, saying hi.
Hello,
Lewis Bean from Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada. I think that's a whole other country. He's checking in.
Thanks,
Mr. David Full Metal Digger.
His name came up a couple of times over there.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Detecting Addicts. Bill, Ohio Relic Hunter. Somebody called Relics Radio.
I was logged in as Loy's login, and I just commented. I was like, "Whoops! I better jump over to Adventures in Dirt."
Loy.
So yeah, I thought it. Everyone probably thought it was. Yeah.
We got Indiana Tones from Sweet Lou over there. Yeah. Who else?
Looking at Marty Stone. Marty Stone's in.
Hey, Marty.
He came in. What's up, Marty? Hollywood Joe. Joe said he in the house.
Sweet Joe.
Joe, I think they're getting ready to do. There's an event coming up.
Are they?
Yep. Joe, what's the name of that event? Come on, it's Come Out Swinging. Come Out Swinging is happening.
Oh yeah, Come Out
this
Swinging.
weekend.
Yep.
So good to see you guys. Dennis Gretencourt.
Hey,
good
Dennis.
To see you. Jason Richards joining us. What's up, Jason? Yeah, welcome everybody.
Nice. Lots of people checking in already. I see Full Metal Digger says my membership to the Colchester Treasure Hunting Club is still pending. They're waiting for my check to clear. That's what he says.
Right.
Funny guy.
How'd you deal with being sort of away from work that long, away from the podcast, away from your, all the other stuff you have your finger on every day,
right?
All day.
For me personally, it was really, really tough. You get into your habits. For me, I'm very much a habit person. So, I get up pretty much, I wake up at the same time every day. I do the same thing, same ritual in the morning, go to work, pretty much do the same thing at work every day. Hang out with the chickens every day. Come home and work on just extra stuff, videos and things like that in the evenings. And so my routine is pretty well set. And, personally, I'm not a control freak, but I like to be comfortable. So, being like, I do not like going downtown Denver. I don't like going to towns I don't know of. I don't like being in crowds, areas that I've never seen before. I mean, so, we go over to there, you're going to a new country. I've never been out of the United States. So that's different. Going to a different town, a different culture, to see different people and do different things. I mean, it was
outside your comfort zone, man.
It was a little difficult for me, but I tell you, I really put it aside, and I said, this is an opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm not going to let that overtake me. And I just really concentrated on taking in everything that was around us. I mean, from the foods that we ate, right?
Yeah. I mean, somebody was just asking about food. How the food was over there. Everyone always talks about the food over there and how it's just crappy and terrible. And, it's got its moments.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But we didn't go hungry. That's for sure.
I didn't come back lighter, which I was surprised because we physically worked our tails off.
Yeah.
And, but I must have put on a little bit of extra, in London for the 7 days that we detected, because I did not come back any lighter. So
yeah,
you're right. We did not go hungry.
Yeah. Food wasn't bad, but yeah, I mean, you get there and you're just like, well, first it was a 9-hour flight for us, right? We had a 9-hour flight, direct flight from Denver to Heathrow Airport. And, that's always a challenge, just, sitting in a seat that long and on a plane. But we had a seat between us that was open. That was kind of nice.
Yeah, the
So,
direct flight was good.
very
We had
good.
room. We had
Yep.
room to stretch out,
Right.
and we knew each other, sitting next to each other for 9 hours.
Yeah.
And one thing I did notice is we travel well together. We've been on a couple flights together. We're pretty much get in your seats and hunker down. Whether
Yep.
we went for 9 hours or if we go for a 2 hour, we're not up and down. We're not climbing over each other. We're not the anxious. I mean, there's people. Everybody knows these people that are on these planes that have to get up. They're 5 minutes up off the ground in the air, and they're already jumping out of their seat before the seatbelt signs are coming off. But
yeah, we pretty much planted ourselves
yeah.
for 9 hours, and
Yeah.
in and out of consciousness, and trying our best to sleep when we could. And it was tough. It was tough to sleep, but yeah, got to London, and got our bags and everything. Everything came through fine, and then we had to find our way. We had a hotel for 2 days in London. We had to find our way to the hotel. And in England, in London, you do that via the
tube.
The tube.
Not the YouTube.
No.
The YouTube. I will say you helped navigate. You've been there before. You kind of had done this before. So if that was me, there's no way we would have got anywhere. I wouldn't have been able to figure it out. It's not difficult, but it's just different. It's way different.
I'll tell you what, now that we're on the other side of it, it's friggin' brilliant.
Absolutely.
Like the whole tube system is, it was how we did what we did. You know what I mean?
We were all over the place. We were able to travel all over London just like that, just by using the tube.
Yeah, so the tube is underground subway. They have different stations that they call gates, and they have an app. And in every station they have a map. But this app is cool because you can actually look at the app and put where you're going, and it kind of tells you where to go, when to get off this train, go to another one. Because there's a lot of connecting sometimes. Sometimes there's a lot of connecting. We got to go to this, get off at this platform, and then cross the platform and get on the central line and take that over here, and then get off on, Notting Hill, and then get out of that gate, And so figuring all that out was a little bit of a learning curve. But once we got it down, it was learning how to find your way around was part of it. But once we did, man, I loved it. You buy yourself a little credit card called an Oyster card, load it up with money. I think I put 20 pounds on mine, and almost made it all the way through. I think we had to add a little bit of money to get back to Heathrow at the last day to join up with our metal detecting group. But
I mean, so 20, 30 pounds for 2 days of travel. And I mean, 2 days of traveling. We walked a lot, but we used that a lot to get around, which was really convenient. It's a genius system. It really is.
Yeah, I really, really liked it. I really, really enjoyed it and stuff. Didn't have any problems, but getting on there with 2 huge suitcases and stuff, and trying to.
Right.
Yeah, the timing was good though. We went after the rush hour, and it wasn't too crowded. But made it to our hotel. Hotel was nice, man. You did a good job booking us the hotel there, and it was right next to Hyde Park, this gigantic park, similar to like a Central Park kind of in New York. Not as big, but a big major park like that. So we were right next to that, and so we started. We just put our stuff in the thing, and we were. Ready to roll. Yep.
Gone.
Where'd we go first?
No idea. Did we go to the British Museum?
I think we did British Museum first. Right. We were looking at the time, and we're like, well, let's at least go.
Should we do this today or tomorrow?
Yeah. Yeah. I think
it was raining. That's what it was. It was rainy. I mean, imagine that. It's probably once in a lifetime. It actually rained in London. No, it was raining, and we said, let's go do something inside while it's raining, and that way, we can come and do other things. So we headed over to the British Museum, which, holy cow, talk about overload.
Oh, completely overload. No chance in God's green earth to be able to take that in.
No,
in anything less than
in a
2
week.
or 3 days. Yeah. 3 days.
It's crazy.
And you just get, as our history, Tony and I both love history, like we said, and it's, man, you just, I wanted to I wanted to share what I was looking at with Tony, who was over there looking at that, but he wanted to see, Ken, come over here, look at this. Like, we couldn't look at it enough and as much as we wanted to. We were breezing through like the Greek, the Greek history area, the Egyptian. They had huge monoliths in there and just giant slabs with this ancient writing in Sanskrit and stuff like that on it. And just amazing stuff. You know, we were concentrating, I think, on Europe. We went by the North American exhibit, which was like size of a bathroom.
Right.
But the exhibits were just the amount of stuff they had in there and the little descriptions they had. It was intense. And we walked and so huge that the building is a monolith itself. It's just, like 30-foot ceilings, all decorated and carved and scoped and coned and all kinds of different, like, it's not just a square building, you're like, hey, here's a museum. It's it's a monolith, man. It's just world class for sure. But
and they have it designed pretty well. I mean, there's a bunch of different rooms, so it's kind of broken up. And there's a map that you can, you go from room to room, which you can cut through and circumvent some places that you don't want to go to. So it's not like going to IKEA where you start at the top and they push you through and you have to go through everything.
True.
You can jump over to where you want to go through. And I mean, if you lived there, I mean, what was the biggest thing that we didn't understand the first thing when we walked right up to it? We go through the tent. What was that? Do you remember that?
No, I forget.
Okay, so there's people. We go inside this tent.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Paying the money?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're walking up to pay the entrance fee, right? And there's people standing there. Look like they're taking money. So I go up and I'm just like looking around for how much it is. And the guy's like, you want to make a donation? And I was like, donation? For what? And he goes, the museum. And I was like, sure. And then I'm still expecting to pay, my entrance fee. There was no entrance fee.
It's free.
It's free.
Completely free.
You just walk in.
Yeah, they're taking donations, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then, you say yes or no and you give them whatever you want, and then you walk through the tent and then you're to the stairs in front of these columns that are monstrous.
I was expecting to pay like 20 pounds to get in there.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, columns, like outdoor, like Roman columns that were like 8 feet in diameter and like 60 feet tall, like just ridiculousness. Sorry, I swallowed that water wrong. But it was just amazing. Amazing building, amazing stuff.
It's a free museum. It just blew my mind that something of that caliber, which is world known, right? I mean, you talk about that and people know the British Museum, and it's literally free to walk in. And we saw lots of schools going through it, which I thought was fantastic. I mean, these kids, they kind of like a scavenger hunt kind of thing, and I was overly impressed with the museum itself. Absolutely overly impressed.
Yeah, me too. And then you start digging into the artifacts, and you're going through the ages, right? So you're like in Europe or you're in, Britain, and you're going from, the very earliest period all the way up, and they just have artifacts, man, from all this different stuff. And the gold, then you start seeing the gold. Yes. And the large gold and the crazy gold. That's just, can't believe that they actually have artifacts like that. And then they start seeing the hoard and the hoard coins and the hoard Roman and silver and gold coins. And then, I don't know, did you see that one exhibit? It was a hoard that I think they found in Germany illegally. And they wwere bringing it over to Britain to sell it. Oh. And they posted something about it on social media, and they got wind, and they arrested him at the border.
I didn't see that.
In customs, they arrested him. But there was like the big write up about this one hoard. I bet you, David knows about it. But yeah, they it was called the something hoard obtained illegally by illegal metal detecting, and I was like, oh man. Geez.
You don't want to see that in the write up of the find in the British Museum,
right? And I always looked at the write up second. My eyes automatically went to the coins or to the different doodads, and then I go down and look at the description. I was like, oh, those darned old metal detectors.
Right.
Yeah, but man, yeah, it was amazing. Where did we go after the British Museum? Did we go take on St. Paul's after that?
If we were dumb enough, yes.
I think we did, because the next day we did Tower of London and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. We did St. Paul's Cathedral. Holy.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So okay. So 9-hour flight, figuring out the tube, walking over to, taking the tube to the exit for the British Museum, but still walking all through the British Museum. Jet lag hitting us big time. Like we're both high-eyed, dragging, stumbling. And then Tony's like, let's go to St. Paul's Cathedral. Okay. Which is probably the most amazing church I've ever been in.
Oh, easily.
That's still an active church. It just blew my mind that it's still an active church.
Right.
Because it is just a monstrous, I don't even know how to explain it. Gothic looking, just incredible, tall.
Just you walk in and just the history that it just flows history, because of all of the things that actually happen inside there still today that have happened in there for hundreds of years.
Right. But coronations and funerals and people in crypts in there. There's crypts in there, and there's different areas, right? So the church, and we did the radio tour. So we put on headsets, and we're kind of like walking around to the different areas, and then they kind of give you descriptions. So it was a lead tour on audio, and there was just all these different sections to go. But the whole time you're looking up and looking around, and you're surrounded by. I don't know if opulence is the word for it, but just almost not gaudy either, but just like I don't even know.
It's impressive. It. It's just there's so what it was I think it was so overwhelming again because there was so much detail in everything. Everything had a purpose, a story, and then you look at just the workmanship of it. It was overwhelming in a good way. It was impressive. This is what it was. Everywhere you looked, you saw something new that you didn't see a minute ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. You'd be like, oh my God, those are actually figurines up there of little, they look like, saints, or those are, monks or something. Yeah. And then you look up there and it's like, wow, in between there's actually paintings up in between those little sconces and stuff. And just nothing is left bare. Nothing is left just unadorned. Absolutely crazy. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful place. Absolutely. Yeah. Walking around there, we definitely wanted to be there and stuff. And then Tony had the bright idea, hey, I think we can go to the top of this thing. Yeah. You see that large, I don't even know what the heck it's called, dome? Dome. Huge dome. We can go all the way up to the top of that. Yeah. Yeah. So the top of St. Paul's Cathedral, this huge dome, is part of the skyline. Like it's gigantic. It sticks way up there, and you can see it from all around. You know where St. Paul's Cathedral is. So Tony's like, "Let's go," and I thought, "Oh, okay, we're going to be an elevator over here." Well, right, and everything is. I mean, you have to remember how long ago this was built, right? They obviously did not have larger males that lived in that time because walking through the stairs 5'6" maximum. I'm telling you, all the people back then 5'6", 125. Yeah, easy. It was a tight squeeze to get through a lot of the area that we were walking up. And the steps and the spiral staircases, they weren't to code. I'll put it that way. Like I'm in construction. And there is no way that would be allowed in the United States, man, at a tourist attraction. Like people have got to slip and fall off those things every year. Like there's got to be a count. There's got to be a body count for that because my feet, spiral staircases, they come down into a pie shape towards the bottom. My feet wouldn't even fit on there. Like I had to step sideways down the last 6 steps or I would have, slipped on my butt. Like it was narrow, cramped, tight. And we just went straight up, and it just kept winding and winding and winding and winding. And we'd get to a spot to where we'd come around a corner, and I think we'd see a landing or an open space, and it would just keep going. And, man, we climbed all the way to the top. And then when we got there, right? Yeah. We got to the top, it opened up to this veranda that pulled you out on the dome, and you were on top of the world. Yeah, you were on top of the world.
We both took videos of that. Kind of you look all over London, look down on the River Thames, look across the river, just down all the way to Big Ben, and just all of the large buildings in London and stuff. And we walked all the way around the dome. And that was just so impressive. But then
we can go higher.
We can go higher. Saw some other stairs. We're like, hey, what's up there? Let's go. I mean, my legs were shaking.
We made it this far. Come on.
So we did. We went to the very tip top. And at the top, at our feet,
there's a hole in the floor.
There's a hole in the floor. It's got a piece of plexiglass on it or something.
Yeah.
It's about, what, 12-inch in diameter or something?
Probably, yeah.
And we looked through this, and we're at the very tip top of the dome looking down on the floor below that we were down previously, looking up at the top, underside of this dome, thinking what that little hole was, a little speck of hole that was up there way high at the top. Well, now we knew we were on top of that thing looking down.
It was incredible.
Yeah. But then we had to make our way down. That's right. And that was, you know, they always say, right, it's easier going down than up. And that is true.
It is.
But boy, you get tired of breaking your leg, you know.
Both of our legs were shaking, like
Yeah.
just from the amount of walking that we had been doing.
You're gonna hear that a lot this hour and a half.
That's a good question. Ohio Relic Hunter just said, was that hole for the bell ropes? What do you think about that? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yeah, I don't think so. Well, I don't know. Do you think they added that later? Do you think they added that once they started having tourists go up there and stuff?
Maybe.
And I don't know how many years, hundreds of years they've been having tourists go up there. I don't know, but
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up actually.
yeah, because I thought the bell tower was in a different part.
Okay.
The bell tower was in a different part, kind of on the side. I don't think it was at the very top of the dome. If it did,
That's a great question.
Because there was nothing below that hole. There was no landing. There was no anything, you know.
Denny said that it was not for the bell ropes. It was just the restroom.
It was the restroom. Look out below! Incoming. So
Oh man.
yeah. So yeah, it was fun stuff. So we did that.
Beautiful.
I think that pretty much ended.
That was
after that was
day one.
Food.
30 minutes. We just talked about day one.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I think the rest of the day, I don't know. I think we just walked around and looked at sites.
Yeah.
First thing that hit me about walking around London is that people walk fast in London, probably because of the cold weather and the rain. But they walk. You can't dilly dally. You can't. Walk slow on those streets, man. They are just walking. And they've all become accustomed to just weaving and dodging. And we were like, two
we were
roadblocks in the middle.
We were the tourists. I mean, they could have picked us out of a lineup easily.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, what, it's probably like that in New York as well. People walking fast. If you know where you're going and you've already seen, walked past the St. Paul's Cathedral 2 times for the last 3 years because that's your way to work, you probably, I would still be in awe of it, but maybe somebody else is not. So,
right. But that first day we got rained on really, really heavy, and it was like constantly. It definitely. We both had new rain gear, so it really put it to the test, and I was really pleased with mine. You said you were too.
Oh yeah.
And
essential.
So yeah, we were good, but really tired. And I bet we crashed good that first night.
We
once we finally tried to
go
to sleep.
At least 24 hours at that point. By the time
Yeah.
I was out at 7. I know that much. When we got back, you were on the phone, but I was like, I'm sorry, I'm going to sleep. I will sleep till 7 tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
I was exhausted.
I'm no spring chicken anymore. That whole 24 hours. I used to be able to do that, but not anymore without consequences.
Right.
So we had like one more day in London the next day, and then before we went and got picked up by the vans to go metal detecting, and we decided we were going to go hit Tower London the second day.
Impressive. Found
some breakfast. Went and got breakfast at a place called Sheila's Cafe, which was named after my wife, and she got a kick out of that. But that was cool because I'd looked up Tony was sleeping, I think I would looked up breakfast near me, the best breakfast near me or something like that. I wanted to know where it was. And it said this little cafe just happened to be like 2 blocks away. So we go over there. Yeah, let's go. Full English breakfast. And we go over there. There's a guy standing out front. He was like the hype man for this little cafe.
That's right.
Hey, you guys looking for breakfast? Hey, come on in, right in here. And I go, yeah, this is the place we were looking for. And we walked through the door, and it was, I've seen delis bigger than that. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Like old Italian delis and stuff. It was like a glass case, a counter, and then like a griddle. Like a little grill and a griddle.
They did, yeah.
And then 4 tables, maybe 5 tables, maybe. Really cramped.
Yeah, you're sitting shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, and he just sat us with somebody else.
And they had one thing for breakfast.
Right. Full English breakfast.
Full English breakfast. Okay. How do you want your full English breakfast?
Right. No beans.
No beans. Oh, okay. You guys are from the United States. Gotcha. All right.
Right. Met some people from Texas in there. So,
yeah.
And he just kept shoveling them in, man. Just shoving them in.
Yeah.
Like I had to get up and move my chair so that the student kid in the corner could get out of his hole that he was wedged in back there. Like it was that kind of place, really tight. But it added to the experience. So
absolutely.
And then we were off to Tower in London, which is probably the furthest away from our hotel that we had to travel. But using the tube, it was great. If you've never been to Tower of London, like that's where they used to hold prisoners of the crown and different people that were, known as sorcerers. And I mean, it goes back forever. Like when did they say it was built? Do you remember that?
No, Tower of London. That was forever
ago.
Yeah.
And it's impressive to look at it from the outside because it's so massive. And it's got different towers. It's got different towers. And then in the center is the White Tower, which is the original tower because they kept building onto it. And it's just got a ton of stuff. And also has a huge moat around it, which wasn't filled with water, but it's still there. And it was quite large. You could tell that you couldn't make it across there. Very easy, probably, 100, 300 feet maybe wide all the way around.
What's your guess on the age of the White Tower?
The White Tower?
Yeah, which was the first one built?
1100.
1078. There you go.
There you go.
So 1078.
Wow. Quite old. Yeah. My wife and I watch a lot of TV regarding the monarchy and stuff, and we've got we're kind of always interested in that. So hearing the Tower of London and who was in there and different stories wrapped around it. It was so cool being there, Hey, we got a caller, Denny. Denny, you're on the line with Tony and Ken. How you doing, bud?
I got to tell you, of all the people that we know that metal detect, and I have been to England, you two guys and all the rest of the guys you were with are the only time we ever saw England in London and all the really neat things you saw. I don't know. I'm speaking for myself, and I'm sure Barb's on here and all these guys are on here on the chat really appreciated the pictures you guys took. I really did.
Thank you, Danny.
I mean, if I went to England, there's no way I would just spend 1 week there and go metal detecting. I'd have to take the wife for sure and spend another week and see the country.
Yeah.
It's just crazy just to go over there, fly over, metal detect you're dead, and then fly back home. Not going to happen.
It was a huge part of our trip, man. I'm telling you, those 2 days, even though it had exhausted us, it did allow us to acclimate to the new time. Where all the other guys that were flying in the morning we got picked up in the van, they were all, jet lagged and highlighted. Tony and I were like ready to roll by that time. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad we had that opportunity to do that. I mean, I appreciate you saying so.
If I go over, I want to go with you, Ken and Tony, because you guys know where to go.
Right.
Maybe you could do the same things because I wouldn't know where to go. My GPS wouldn't be going nuts.
Denny, I'll tell you one thing. So when we talked about going for the 2 days prior, I started looking at things. My intent, and I'm glad that we didn't because we would have been exhausted. I actually had proposed to Ken that we do London on Wednesday and Paris on Thursday. We were gonna.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wasn't even wet metal detecting.
I wanted to see.
He's like, the train ride's only a couple hours away, man.
Yeah.
We could be in Paris by lunch.
Right.
And I was like,
actually, I would like to go. I'd like to go back to Germany. You guys sent me there in 1966. Thanks a lot.
Right? Yeah. I'd like to go to Germany.
And I got to spend a year and a half there. Oh man.
Stationed out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had fun, man.
Yeah.
It was great posting those pictures. I mean, we did want to share that with people. I'm glad you were able to come along with us on that part, for sure.
I love that part. I really did. I enjoyed what you found too, but yeah, it was awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah. We appreciate I appreciate that, Denny.
Yeah.
I appreciate you telling us that.
All right, buddy.
I definitely wanted to tell you guys that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Yep.
Nice.
See ya.
All right, take care.
Night. Hey, and the phone lines are open in case you're listening. You want to call in and chat. We got a lot to talk about tonight. You're going to just hear us just jawing on and on. We're going to get to the detecting here in a bit. We still got to hit day 2, 270-495-0315. Again, 270-495-0315. Feel free to call in. Day 2, Tower London, amazing. Just went in there and we didn't take a tour. We did our own tour, walking around and
again, a lot of stuff to see, a lot of details, lots and lots of details to see. You know, you could walk through it and be in awe of the age and the massiveness of the entire thing, but just the details, like I was mentioning, the carvings in the wall or different paintings or you know, I mean, just they've phenomenal. The way it's set up, completely phenomenal. It really draws you in. They give you the history. Do you remember that one?
First place we walked into with the fireplace. The original old fireplace that was originally the old fireplace, and it was all kind of dilapidated. It still wasn't a fireplace, but you could still see the charring on the walls and everything for the years and years and years of fires they had there.
Unbelievable. Well, there was also that one building that they had pictures next to each other of what it looks like now, but then they had, I think it was through World War I, where they, you know, in the Tower of England.
Amazing. Just went in there. Hey, Tony, Dave, turn your radio down for a second. Go ahead, Tony.
I did.
All right, 1 second.
You know, where they're showing, you know, where the volunteers that were going off to war are standing inside the Tower of London, and they have it like superimposed on what it looks like now, like feeling that whole history of how they did that. I mean, just blew my mind. I mean, you're standing right where these soldiers that who knows what their fate is. You know, they're 18-year-old, you know, they're just going off to war, and they were
training there.
Yeah, and they did training there, and oh my gosh, just
that was really cool because it was
a lot
the
of
black
history
and white superimposed over the current color photo. That was just amazing. David, how you doing? David Rose on the phone.
Mr. Rose.
Hey guys, how you doing, man? Congratulations. I followed every picture, every post you guys did. It was incredible. And like the previous caller, thank you so much for taking us along with you on that trip. It really brought back a lot of good memories and good feelings.
Thanks, Dave. We appreciate that, man. Yeah, because you just post stuff out. I know I had a lot of family that wanted to follow along, and I was like, we'll just throw stuff out. And I had paid for the data package and the phone package. I think it cost me like $50 to go, like for 30 days and 15 gigs of data. And that's what allowed me to share those photos and stuff on the fly and stuff and the videos. And I was glad I did that, man. It was well worth it because I was able to share stuff out to, friends back home. So thanks for saying that, David. We appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, there was a post that Tony did. He said something to the effect of, it's raining. Where should we go? And then I answered, British Museum is a must. And like 5 minutes later, he posted a picture of the front of the museum. And I was like jumping around, screaming and high-fiving myself. Like, all right, you're right. He listened to me, but I think it's just a coincidence.
No, I don't know, man, because it was on our list.
Yeah.
And it was just,
when?
Raining.
When
that was the big thing.
Yeah.
The big thing was when. And it was raining, and I don't know, maybe Tony suggested it, and maybe it was your comment that.
I came up with that on my own. Come on, that was not influenced whatsoever.
No, we were reading all the comments and stuff and sharing comments with each other. We're like, hey, look, so and so just said that. Really cool that we got to go here, we got to go there. Because we were open to all kinds of suggestions. We were just like, leaves in the wind.
Yeah.
And going wherever. That looks interesting. Let's go over there. And so it was a lot of fun, man. A A lot of fun being a tourist.
When you guys posted that group photo on the last day, it occurred to me that you had almost the entire Dirty Dozen, except for 4.
Yes, that was brought up.
So I was like, you almost had the full dozen, and I kind of wish I was there, to be honest with you. But you can't go on every trip.
Yeah. We talked about the trip we did in 2020. When 2020, the 12 of us went. We called ourselves the Dirty Dozen. That's where that's coming from Dave. And it was like 12 of us went and stuff. And then this time it was almost the Dirty Dozen. They were kind of calling it Dirty Dozen number 2, phase 2. But you're right. There was we were about 4 short from the Dirty Dozen. But a lot of the same people were there. Yeah, we were talking to Nugget about your and his interaction and. Nugget Noggin and everyone was saying that they missed you being there for sure.
Yeah,
and Kevin also and the others, Russ.
Well, that's good. So thanks again, man. I'll go ahead and drop off. I just wanted to thank you for doing such a good job of taking us along.
Good, cool, excellent. Thanks. And what Dave was talking, appreciate David. And what David's talking about is Tony and I both have Facebook pages, and we've been posting stuff on Facebook throughout our trip and stuff. So if you're not friends with us over there, go on and find us over there on Facebook. Yep. You can go back and look at some of those photos and videos we put up.
I think that I didn't realize that had that much impact with people that were essentially following our trip.
Yeah.
And that means a lot to me. It really does. A lot.
Right. Because you do it.
I'm just doing family and friends.
Yeah, very cool. I know Barb commented too. She had commented on a bunch of pictures and said she was enjoying it. So that's awesome. And the bridge that's right outside the Tower of London I thought it was the London Bridge. Right? Somebody put a comment on, it's like, be careful. Don't you know that London Bridge is falling down? But it's actually called the Tower Bridge, and it's really elaborate, like super elaborate, very decorative.
Colored.
Goes over the River Thames, and it's just amazing. But inside the Tower of London, Tony and I saw the crown jewels.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that incredible?
That was impressive. Now, they did have certain items that were being used for the new king's what do you call it, inauguration, coronation.
Mm-hmm.
But we did get to see quite a bit. I mean, there was that one area with was it the gold or the the gold items.
Punch bowl.
Yeah,
it was a gold punch bowl about 6 foot in diameter, about 4 foot tall.
It was incredible.
Yeah, and they wouldn't let us take video in there, right? Pictures. They said no cameras in there.
Right.
But just incredible. Search out on Google if you think. Crown Jewels Gold Punch Bowl. And then I think like 10 years after they made that, finally they made a gold punch bowl ladle. That was just this giant ladle, like, 5 foot long, like 6-inch diameter bowl on it. Just opulent. I'm using that word again. It was just ridiculous.
Obnoxious.
Yeah, it was so obnoxious. It was all just gold.
But impressive. Amazing. I mean, to say that we actually got to see the crown jewels. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I had no clue.
Right.
What was going to be in there?
A lot of Queen Elizabeth stuff. A lot of Queen Victoria stuff. She had this little crown, this little tiny crown. It was kind of cool. I thought it was funny because it looked funny.
And the one thing that I thought was interesting was for every piece, it had a custom box that was made for it as well. So if they were to transport it out or whatever, if it was being sent to a different place, it was a very specific box that was made during that time. So there was a couple of them that we got to see that were hundreds of years old, that were these elaborate boxes that held specific items for them to transport them, which I thought was really cool as well. I mean, it was made out of leathers and like red velvet type stuff inside, and it was really cool to see that as well.
Yeah. And like Tony said, we started visiting a lot of the cells and stuff, and it's not like cells like we think of cells over here, like prison like cells with bars and so. Well, they may have happened back then, but these were like rooms. These were like full rooms. They had their own fireplaces and stuff, so people can live there while they're in prison. They still treated them, I think, fairly okay while in between them being tortured, but. They had scratches on the walls over the years. They would just etch things into the wall quite elaborately. Like I remember this one I was watching, I was reading. It was the guy he was accused of trying to kill like Queen Victoria or Queen Elizabeth first,
Right.
And he conspired to kill her or something like that. But he was really infatuated with her, and he like wrote this whole like sonnet to her on the wall, and you could just tell he was like a stalker type. You know what I mean? And and he was ended up executed. But just craziness that and these people are historians are able to look at that, find out who did that, what his whole backstory was, and then put it on a plaque. And then they would protect the etching with glass, like they had glass over it so people wouldn't destroy it, It was just pretty impressive. And there was hundreds of those, hundreds and hundreds. Wow. So what did we do after that real quick? We went Tower of London, walked around, had a bite to eat there, I think, in the Tower of London. They have a little cafe. Oh, we saw the bricklayers.
Yeah, in the Tower of London.
You can take, what's the phrase? You can take the kid out of this country, but you can't take the country out of kid or whatever. Take the detectors away from the field, but you can't take them. But I don't know.
Right.
But what do we do?
We're walking through the middle of Tower of London, and there's on the sidewalk area, there's these workers. Now it's cordoned off, like construction and things like that, and they're pulling up brick off the walkway. They're
like
pulling
stones,
it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So what do two metal detectorists do? They go over and they strike up a conversation with these workers who are on their hands and knees working, right? I'm sure they've never been approached by anybody in the Tower of London. And it's like, hey, how much history do you think is underneath those bricks right there? If I ever find any coins that have been sitting there forever. And they thought it was pretty funny that we talked to them about that.
They said they were constantly looking for him, though. They're like, no, but we're still looking. I guess they said the original terra firma was down about 2 feet from where they were working at and stuff. Right. But they said, they're always looking for artifacts and stuff. We're like, yeah, you're right up our alley. We would be too, man. You kidding?
That was cool, though.
Yeah, it was cool. So Tony had a great idea. We were out and kind of looking at the Thames, the River Thames, and he noticed there was some boat tours. Oh, talk about Uber boats.
Yeah, there's an Uber
boat.
There's an
Uber boat.
Yeah, they pick you up and they take you and they just use the river. Had no idea there was such a thing.
Right, crazy. So yeah, he said let's take this boat tour. And first, let's talk to Tim. Tim Ildigger, how you doing,
Mr.
Tim?
Ildigger.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, having fun. We're living our trip.
Are you done with the jet lag? Now you're back home.
No, not really, man. I'm telling you, I'm waking up early. I'm still waking up really early, like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, not being able to get back to sleep. And I don't know, maybe it's a coincidence, but man, still not on a regular sleep pattern.
Yeah.
It seems like it takes me like a week and a half to shake it once I get home from one of those trips.
Yeah.
It's been about that. Yep. I think so. Well, you just got back, haven't you?
No. Well, I just got back from Dig Stock.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep, and then me and Dave go over to Europe in 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Actually, I think Dave's going in 4 weeks. Me and my wife are going over a week earlier.
Right. Yeah, we'll definitely want to have you guys on after that. Come chat with us about that trip for sure. Yeah. What's up? You got a question?
Cool. I got a couple questions.
Okay.
So, first question is, did Tony eat all the bucket list food that he was going to eat? Did he eat the blood pudding and?
Okay, I stepped out of my comfort zone a little bit. I was talking about how I'm very ritualistic. I eat a lot of the same things, and I eat a lot of things that I just eat a lot of unique things. I didn't try anything super unique. I eat a lot of fish and chips. I'm going to be honest. The fish was good. Now we did have, what was that, the last night where we had we had appetizers. Ken and I had 2 different appetizers. I got the deep fried brie, which was oh my gosh, it was incredible. And Ken stepped out of his comfort zone and he got fried whitebait.
Yeah, they call it fried whitebait.
Which
is
like,
what's whitebait? Whitebait.
It's like an anchovy. It's a whole fish.
It's this little
I was gonna
tiny
say, the
fish.
fish, yeah.
Yeah, little tiny whole fishes with eyeballs and tails and everything and heads, and they just deep fry it and
You
put
just
batter
did
it and deep fry it.
Yeah.
And then you just crunch
And?
it like and it was
I liked
fishy.
it. I liked it.
Yeah. Tony's like, hey, can I have some more of that? I'm like, sure, can I have more of your brie? So we were like a married couple sitting there sharing each other's meal. We're like,
That's right.
yeah, no, it was good. A little bit of each. And I ate about half of them and sent some pictures of my wife because she was just like, oh, no way, not even close. Just sent her a video of me crunching one, showing her the eyeball and then throwing it in my mouth and crunching it up. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
That was cool.
That's
That place was an old place too. It was like 500-year-old old
It was
pub.
built in the 1600s, I think.
Yeah, across from this incredible church, and we went there on our last meal of the week. We usually do that like the last night. We'll end the day early and go get cleaned up and go out to a nice meal. Last time we did Italian. This time we went to this place called the Marlboro, and it was just cool.
Okay,
Man.
I've been there.
Yeah, have you? All right.
Yep.
Yeah, you saw that. It's right across from that big old church, and it's in Dedham, England.
Dedham. Yep.
Beautiful place.
Yep.
Good food there.
They got one of the old-fashioned phone booths right across the street. It doesn't work. There's no phone in there, but we had our picture taken by it.
Yeah, that's the spot.
That's
the spot. Neat place.
Do you have any other questions? Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. So, well, we figured Tony was going to dig his oldest coin on his trip.
Easy.
I did see on your Instagram page.
You nailed it. Yeah.
So how my question is, how long did it take, and what was it?
Okay, so
it broke your record. What was the first coin that broke your record?
Okay, so previous my record was 1772 Spanish 2 real, which to me blew my mind. 1700s in the United States. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. And you guys nailed it. You said you're gonna blow it away by a couple hundred years. So the first field we went to, and let me preface this entire thing. I had about 4 hours of time on the Manicore, and I've moved from the Garrett Apex and Garrett machines for my last couple of years to the Manicore. So in terms of knowing what the heck I was doing, I was the furthest from that. I know how to turn it on, and I can sync my headphones, and then I listen to the beep beep. That's about as much as I knew about the Manicore.
That's all you need to know in England.
Well, yes, and fortunately, it was very you could tell that for sure. So everybody just said, you hear a sound, if it sounds good, dig it. That's it. So that was my approach.
Yep.
And I'm probably it was what 2-3 hours maybe. It was before lunch, I can tell you that. So I'm thinking between 2 and 3 hours into the first day, and I dug. It ended up being a hammered, and I can tell you I'm halfway decent at being able to identify U.S. coins, but the amount of history when you talk about England, thousands of years, I didn't know what in the world I'm looking at. Not a clue.
Sure.
And I don't want to rub on. I don't want to clean it. Yeah. And
you just know it's cool because
it's awesome.
That detail, it's hammered.
Incredible. It's got the cross on the back with the with like the shield and oh my gosh. So it ended up being a 1561 Queen Elizabeth I. It's either a 6p or a half groat.
Right. Right on.
And I don't know for sure. I wasn't able to weigh it from what I could read up on it and researched on it. It's going to be based upon the weight I don't know. I could be wrong on it, but it was a decent size.
I think it's a full groat. I don't think it's a half groat. I think it's a full groat. Yeah.
It very well
that one
be.
I found was a half groat.
Right.
It was a little thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was definitely a bigger one. It was bigger than a quarter. It was, but not necessarily as big as a half. Right. So, but hammered and thin, and I think the plow had gotten the top of it, but it still had the date on it. The details on it are fantastic. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, and after I was able to figure out that it was 1561, I was a little freaked out. Slightly. Yeah. I mean, it beat my oldest coin by 200 years.
And it happened so soon into the hunt.
Right.
I was just like, man, he's going to tear it up.
Bam.
He's going to tear it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So is that the oldest coin of the trip for you?
That's the oldest coin of the trip. I dug another 1700s Danish coin, Danish silver. It was a 2.5 pence Danish silver from 1797. Then 1840s young Victoria, I think. And then I got just a slick on both sides silver. So I got 4 silvers, 1 hammered.
Oh, you got the Jetton too, dude.
Yeah, which is, I guess, like a hammered copper coin.
I call it Jetton.
Yep.
A Jetton. We weren't able to identify that. I mean, from what the research that I was looking at, there's a ton of different ones of that. And so I left that for them to identify it and put an age to it. I didn't know what in the world. Again, I mean, I don't know what the heck I'm looking at.
Yeah, Chris has got a whole book on those Jettons, I guess. So
Yeah.
he's usually pretty good at being able to ID those.
Yeah, I'm interested to get the info back on that one, and for me then, because that's entirely brand new idea concept, never seen it before, don't even know what in the world it is. But once he can identify it, then I can flow down that rabbit hole and really see, what exactly that coin is and what it means.
Sure. Yep.
Anxious.
I knew that was going to happen. Before my first trip, I knew that was going to happen to me. I knew I was going to be out in a field somewhere, half mile from the nearest human being, and I was going to dig something up, and it was going to be old, and it was going to drive me crazy, and it was going to distract me the rest of the day until I figured it out.
Yeah.
So I started watching YouTube videos, and I actually started watching Ron's videos, Chicago Ron's videos, because I knew that's where I was going to be. So I got to see the land they were hunting on, what they were wearing, what they were finding,
nice
places they were going, how they were getting around. So I got a little educated before I went over there. It really did help. I mean, I could identify like a King Edward hammered silver with the cross on the back and the pellets, and like a Queen Elizabeth. I probably could have ID'd that, but it really did help just kind of watch a bunch of videos before I went, and I was the same way, but I knew it would drive me crazy not knowing.
Yeah, that's a great idea too, because just seeing what other people are wearing, that's a great tip right there. If you're going to go over to England, watch videos of people that have already gone over there, and so you can kind of see what kind of gear they use out in the fields and stuff for weather and stuff. Because I wasn't a big outdoor weather guy, but I did the same thing. I'm like, oh yeah, it looks like it's a light shell on the outside and layers on the inside, and it was good stuff.
This kind of shoes, all that good stuff.
What kind of boots? Yeah. Well, cool, man. Thanks for the call, Tim. We appreciate it.
All right. Good night, fellas.
Thanks, Tim. Thank you
man.
very much,
All right,
Tim. Take care.
Talk to you soon. Yep, bye.
We're still in London. Should we get over to Colchester?
Yeah, let's get over to Colchester. I want to talk about.
We did a lot of cool things in London. We went to Buckingham Palace, and we went to Big Ben, Parliament, Westminster Abbey, Kensington Palace, Hard Rock Cafe, the original one, that the very first one ever. Went to the Arch,
Marble Arch,
Marble Arch, just did all.
We were busy.
We were
busy. Like Denny said as well. We did a lot, and David said, it was nice to bring everybody along. We did a lot in those 2 days for sure. Before we even got metal detecting, which is why we were there.
Right. And then it was time to go meet the fellas to get picked up. We had to go back to the airport, go to the van rental place and get picked up. And that's where we, united with all the other guys that were there. It was really cool kind of seeing everyone. We've been talking for 8 months with all these guys, getting ready for the trip. And then, some of them we knew and some of them we hadn't met yet. And it was cool to get us all together for the first time. And got in the vans, went and rode out to Colchester, went to the bird farm, which is where we stayed, and everyone claimed their rooms and got nests settled in. And
well, I'll just say right away though, because obviously I've never been over there. If you compare London to Colchester, so I mean my first experience, I've got 2 days in London, city, fast-paced, lots of history. Then we get in these vans and we start driving, and my head is on a swivel after that because all you have are fields. Green fields, flowing fields, hedgerows, old little farmhouses everywhere, and I'm just like overwhelmed in awe of the difference between Colchester area and the drive over there and London. And so I was, man, I tell you, I tried to sleep a little bit. I tried to close my eyes, but it was not easy to go to sleep because there was so much for me in my own personal view to see. Just the old places that are out there that you're thinking, oh my Lord, I'd metal detect that field. I metal detect that field. You know,
Right.
it's just everywhere you look, your head's on a swivel.
Yeah. And the English countryside is just absolutely beautiful.
Gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
I'll tell you, I fell in love with it. I'm not going to lie. I absolutely fell in love with the English country.
Yeah. And you had some personal experiences too with some of the landowners too, which we're going to get to here in a second. But that was amazing. That was a great experience too. But yeah, we get out to the Birds Farm, we unpack all of our stuff, get everyone settled, and then we didn't go detecting that first day. We just kind of hung out and went to dinner, got some dinner, and just kind of talked to. We went to the grocery store.
Yeah.
First thing we did, we went to the grocery store, and everyone bought their stuff for. Everyone always wants to know what you do about food and stuff. So, we bought our own stuff for breakfast and lunches, whatever we wanted to do, because there was 3 areas that had 3 different kitchens and refrigerators and stuff, so we can come back and stock. And both Tony and I decided we're going to do peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every day, and bags of chips and stuff like that. Something easy we can throw in our backpack and just carry around with us. You know what I mean? Peanut butter and jelly goes a long way like that. So, and you don't want to eat a ton anyways. You're out there, and you just want to go on the go, you know. So every morning we do some breakfast, a little bit, coffee. I'd do coffee, and then pack a quick lunch, throw it in the backpack, and we'd be off and stuff. So the next day, boy, talk about being excited. Yeah, first day out, everyone was gathering. Wanted to be out there by 7:30. They had a beat on what fields we were going to, and everyone was just excited, man.
Well, how do they? I mean, this is all part of the treasure hunting club, right? I mean, setting up in terms of permissions with the field. So try to explain a little bit that quick.
Yeah. So the main guy, Chris, that is runs the club over there and stuff. He spends a lot of time going around meeting the landowners, talking to them, and getting permissions for us. And it's kind of a pay-to-play thing that he arranges with them. So he does he'll go talk to them and say, okay, I got a group coming in this week. What fields of your 30 fields you own that all produce historical items, which ones are open for hunting? Because some have crops in them, and he'll say, these are open, stay away from these. These have just been turned and rolled. These are good, and stay away from these. So then we have the 30 goes down to 12. So we have 12 fields of 400 or 500 acres each to choose from in one location from this one landowner. And then we have different landowners for the rest of the week. So that's the kind of amount of lands we have. And then what they do is they make arrangements, say, okay, we don't really know exactly what fields we're going to, but if we come on your land, it's going to be X amount of money per head per half day. So I think that's kind of the arrangements they make.
But we don't pay that. We don't pay that.
Don't.
That's already paid.
Included in our fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what our fees go towards is lodging, transportation, and then, the use of these fields that we get to choose from. Nothing's predetermined. So it's not like they go, we absolutely have to take you here. They kind of talk about it and they go, yeah, it'd be kind of cool. We should get out on this one. And they kind of know historically over the years, if you ever go to their website, which Tony, you should put that link up to the website, to Colchester Metal Detecting Club. I mean, over the years and years and years, they've collected that's almost a museum website of the stuff that they've collected that they've had to turn in as treasure, just the amazing amount of gold and artifacts that they've found. And so they're able to tell you, on this field, historically, they found lots of this. They found a lot of Roman on this field. Lots of gold have come out of this field. A lot of hammereds on this field. A lot of this, a lot of that. And, the farmers keep turning it up with their plows. They plow real deep because they plant potatoes out there, and they till really deep. And so they're always turning stuff up. So, I mean, people say, oh, it doesn't ever get hunted out. And they're like, no, it never gets hunted out. First of all, you got this little tiny 8-inch coil that you're wandering around with, and you're in the middle of 12 to 13 400-acre farm. You just got so much vast. There was sometimes I was out there in the field. I was the only one in the field. It was like the furthest away from the van, miles away from the van.
Yeah.
And you're just connected with a walkie-talkie that you have on. Everyone has radios. It's just amazing. You're sitting down looking around. You're like, wow, I'm in the middle of this field, like. No one knows I'm here, and it's just me, But I think that's how they arrange it. I think they say, okay, if we hit your field, we'll let you know we're going to your field number A3, and we've got 14 head going out there. There was 14 of us detecting, including our 2 barn leaders, which were the drivers of the van. And then he would pay the guy later or whatever. I don't know. We're not involved in the financial, but you just need to know that what we paid for the trip, which I think was like $1,800, right? For the trip without airfare.
$1,750, I think.
$1,750, yeah. That included everything for the week, transportation and lodging. Then we had to get airfare and we had to pay for food, which I don't know how much spending money did you go through while you were there for the week. I went through.
What did I get?
400.
Yeah, that's probably right.
400 cash probably, and made another 100 in credit card for certain meals and stuff on the credit.
Yeah.
So let's say 500. 500. Yeah. So not too bad. But yeah. So we get out there that first day, boy. Everyone was really excited. You go out there and you put your stuff together. Everyone loads the back of the vans up with all the detectors. Your backup detectors are in there. All the gear, backpacks. It looked crazy, right? It was so loaded up. And I just remember how excited everyone was. Actually, it was almost most mornings. Yeah, by the end of the day, everyone's dragging. But the most mornings, like I was sitting in the back of the van with Rob from Rob Finds Treasure. Go check out his YouTube channel, Rob Finds Treasure. Him and I were just talking about the possibilities and how excited we were to get out there. And strap up and get all your gear on. And the hardest thing to decide is what? Which direction are you going?
Where do you go?
Where are you going? You know what I mean? Because they don't direct you. They just kind of say, here's the fields we have available to us. They show you a map. They give you a map because you're going to disappear. You're going to disappear. You're not going to be within eyeshot, earshot, or anything. You do have radio on you, but they show you a map. You take a picture of it with your phone, and so you don't go outside the boundaries. You can get into somebody else's land, and then you're just off and running. Some people just start right away from the van, go. Some people throw everything over their shoulder and start hiking and go off to some other place. But yeah, and then, once people start finding stuff, the radio starts blaring. Hammered, somebody will say on the radio, and then somebody will say, hey, I got this or I got that, when it's something really cool. And, everyone's saying, way to go, way to go. Congratulations, good job, and everyone's just rooting each other on for sure, like trying to, loving it when other people are finding stuff too, So, well, every swing, every beep. What were you swinging? You brought the Manicore.
I
brought
Manicore.
The Legend. Yeah.
There was a couple. Preacher had the Manicore. I know Dr. Jeff brought it as a backup. There were a couple of those Jeff out Barber. There.
Yeah. Plugmaster Ford had the Legend. I had the Legend. I think Mikey, Missouri Mike, I don't know if he brought the Legend too or not. He may have brought it as a backup.
Yeah.
But me and Plugmaster 4 were exchanging settings and stuff, and he shared some settings that somebody had given him, and you saved me, man. You saved me though. We were both swinging new machines, and I'm swinging and stuff, and I'm like just getting used to it because there's a lot of metal in the ground over there, a lot of mineralization. A lot of iron mineralization in there, and gives you these grunts before and after the tone, even if it's a good tone, and you're trying to decide whether it's good. I'm evaluating this new machine. I got the Faro check, which always isn't 100%, and I'm like, just trying to decide what this machine is telling me, and then watching videos at night from people from over there, like Sid's videos and stuff from over there, and it just really helped a lot because they were like, yeah, man, don't ignore the crappy sounding signals, because especially if it's wet, because if it's wet, it's a whole new game. Like it's gonna distort your signal a little bit, maybe throw you off your game. But if it's true and it rings and it 2 direction and it's nice and tight and pops, dig it no matter what. And that's the way it was. But I was disappointed in the Legend initially because it wasn't loud enough. It had the volume all the way up. And I took my headphones off, and I'm looking for a stupid button on the side of that thing, like a wheel maybe, or a volume up, nothing. I'm looking at my detector. I'm going through all the settings. I've got it on max thing, and it.
You had the metal detector itself as loud as you could get it.
Yeah, And I said, let me see the Manicore. Let me see what that sounds like. I put on Tony's headphones. I swung that thing 3 things. It was like, sorry, plug your ears if you guys are listening on headphones. It was like, bang, 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 bang. Like that. It was on a good target.
It was super loud.
It's super loud. And I was like, that is not, here, put my headphones on. And Tony's like, something's wrong, man. Something's wrong. Like, that is way too quiet. And he notices on the side of the stupid headphones, there's a sticker. And I hadn't taken the stickers off the thing yet.
Which was good. It saved us.
I thought it was a protective sticker. And it says right on there, it's like, push this, There's no button there though, right? Like,
no, it's not a button at all.
It says push this for volume up. So I'm looking again at the bottom of the headphones, and it's actually like the pad on the side of the headphones. It's actually a big, large pressure switch to turn the volume up. And as soon as I did that, I was back to the bang, bang, bang. And I was like, oh my gosh, 100% difference. That's so great. Because I had the iron volume turned way down, So it was only like a level of 3, and then my regular tones are up at 10.
Yeah.
I wanted to blow my ear off when it heard something good, or those little squeakers, but.
And I had mine up. I literally had mine up, the volume at 25, and my headphones were up all the way. Now, I do have hearing loss just from years of firearms trainings and things like that, but I had mine. I mean, you could walk next to me and you could hear it because I had everything up. But I tell you, you were talking about mineralization and iron. That Manicore cut through it. And if anybody wanted to ask me what my experience is with the Manicore, holy crap, separation, identification was, I dug probably no iron the entire week. No iron at all. I was able to identify targets in there, and when it hit it, I found it, and I was super impressed with the separation.
I was with the Legend as well. I was really, really, as I kept getting better and better and better with it. I was just more and more impressed. Just how much junk I did not dig.
Yep.
I think I dug 2 pieces of wire. Now lead's different. I dug,
of course,
quite a bit pieces of lead, but I'm telling you what, man, I found the smallest targets in between all that mineralization out there that I was impressed. And it was so deep and small. It was just, and sounding so good. It wasn't like real faint and scratchy because it was so deep. It was still going bink, bink, bink. Like it was still just telling me, dig me, dig me. And I go down there and it would be like a piece of brass or copper that was just like a chip off of something.
The head of a small furniture tack.
Yeah.
I mean, Now, real quick, I do want to get to the question that was in the chat, but I do want to mention something that you had talked about previously. You said people are always asking, doesn't it ever get hunted out? Yeah. This is a prime example that it does not get hunted out. We took 14 detectorists on one field, day one. We hammered it for 8 hours. I don't know how many hammered coins we got off of that field on day one, to include buttons and lead and some incredible items off of that field. We went back to that same field, the same area on day 6, and people went over to that same field on day 6 after we hunted it for 8 hours. 20 feet off of the path into the field, right away, somebody found Roman silver. Yeah. It hadn't been tilled, it hadn't been harvested, hadn't been planted and everything. It was 5 days later, and 20 feet off of the path, a Roman silver was found. So hunted out, and the next time, but in the fall, after it gets planted, harvested, and rolled up again, it's going to pull up more stuff that was down there. So hunted out, I don't think is even an option when you talk about that stuff. And people can't understand it. When we went into that field that's been hunted, I don't know how many times, and we pull, 5 silvers out, 5 hammers in 8 hours. That tells you a lot.
Same reason why you can walk behind somebody and find something right behind that
as
place.
Well.
You're swinging, you're zigzagging, you're trying to go slow, low and slow.
Right.
But you're zigzagging, you're all over the place. You're an ant, basically. You're an ant in the middle of in the middle of that vast field. You're an ant. So, question came in. Ken, was your oldest coin for the trip? My oldest coin for the trip was my very first hammered. I never got one in England last time I was there, so I got my first hammered. I only got one hammered this trip. It was 1584 to 1586, Elizabeth I hammered silver half groat. Really cool. The face is kind of wiped off. Somebody from England commented when I put the picture on Facebook that a lot of times they rubbed the face off those coins because she was the ugly queen. That's what they said. Elizabeth I was the ugly queen. I was like, man, that's brutal. But he said, yeah, they would rub her face off, kind of like, to scratch off the coin or whatever. But it was definitely worn off there. That was definitely the oldest coin I got. The coolest and the most exciting coin, lifetime coin I got. I forget what day it was, but it was pulled back the dirt, and what was facing me was the most amazing, detailed Roman soldier looking back at me, gleaming in silver.
Gorgeous,
like shockingly
pristine.
Gorgeous, pristine, just dropped, just minted, just hammered out, just
Roman silver.
Just crazy. And I pull it up, and it's a Roman soldier in this full helmet with all these different accoutrements on it, and it says CSD next to the guy's head. And then I flip it over, and it's even more detailed on the back. It shows soldiers on horseback with a dog on the bottom, and it says Roma at the bottom, and it is just pristine. And I get on the radio and I yell, I just found the most beautiful silver Roman coin you have ever seen in your entire history, in the entire world. And then Jimbo was next to me. He was close. He was the closest one next to me. So he comes walking over, and I hand it to him, and he looks at it, and he's looking at it, and I'd shot it with water, and he's looking at it. He looks at me, and he gives me this look.
The eye.
And he said, the eye. Give me the eye. And I was like, amazing, isn't it? Incredible. Said, yeah. So I don't want to say anything yet because I'm not 100% sure, but they found something similar to this on a field, on somebody else's field here, blah, blah, blah. I think it's fake. And then it all hit me. Then it's like, absolutely, it's fake.
You go from the highest of high, like literally, if anybody had seen that coin from what you posted, it is the most beautiful, pristine, literally like it just was minted, right? I mean, no wear on it. It's probably the most pristine Roman coin that's ever been found. And
if it was real, it would be the most extreme, intense specimen of this type of coin ever found in the history of the world.
1,000%.
That's how detailed it was.
It's insane. It's absolutely gorgeous. The relief on it, the toning of it. I mean, all of that. It's like it just was minted yesterday. So you go from that.
Yeah. Yeah, I go from that to like, oh my gosh. So he gets on the phone, and so now what they're thinking, there's somebody in the club, somebody from these hunts that we go on, somebody in the Colchester club that went out there and planted that to play a joke, and it is what it is. I got to bring it home. I'm holding it in my hands right now. I just showed it to the camera.
We start, luckily nowadays everybody has a cell phone and is connected to Google. So we start looking, right, just to see if we can find it, right? And we found a couple that were what that was supposed to look like. And from there, what we had seen is, they're worn and everything. And we're like, oh the coin that you have, if this is real, this is the number one coin of all time to have found. And then you
and I'm in disbelief because I know what silver Roman coins look like, right? Like they're rounded, they're black usually. And this had some black on it. It wasn't just 100%.
It was toned.
It was toned and blacked and in between. And, they did a good job with the fake, but it wasn't rounded. It was more flat, more like a press coin, and it was like, wow, you're right. Like like, I don't know why I didn't notice it right away that it was fake. Like, cause I was so excited that I'd seen that soldier looking up at me out of the dirt. And so excited to find something amazing like that. Like it suspended belief for a minute. And, everyone's coming over now. I'm bringing in people from,
fields
half
over,
a mile away, fields over, coming to see what I found and, pat me on the back and take pictures of it and everything like that. Same thing when somebody finds, gold, right? Gold, Celtic gold.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I was so disappointed. I was like, man, what a jerk, And even organizers, like, we find out who that is. He's out. He's out of this club. He's not going to be invited back.
I hope they figure it out.
Yeah, me too. Because he says the second one, it was
Right.
different. The one they found before had a different, like an emperor on it, but it was definitely a fake coin, similar to mine, but not the same design or anything. So,
but then
I think they went on the internet and found it on Alibaba or something,
Right.
like $1.49 or something. Exact same coin. I was like, shoot.
And that was the kind of the dagger, the realization of, yes, this actually is really not that real.
Right.
You find the identical one for that dollar amount. You're like, ugh.
Yeah.
But what a story. I mean, it is a story. It's kind of not the story you want to come away with from England.
Right. So what kind of things did you find?
Like I said with Tim, I came home with 4 silvers. I think I had, 28 coppers. I was really excited because there's a couple things that everybody has gold on their bucket list, right? You always want to find gold, but how realistic is that? It's so few and far between. Somebody did find gold on our trip, but it was not me. And I don't want to spoil it, but it was not Ken either. But in terms of coins that I wanted to find hammered. And ironically, I wanted to find a cartwheel penny and a King George II copper. And I actually found both. Yeah. I was the one cartwheel that Plugmaster
that is
Ford.
A massive coin, man.
It's insane.
So it's like a Morgan dollar, like Morgan silver dollar, like that thick,
but super thick too.
Yeah,
I
really
mean,
thick.
Yeah, when you're over it, you think you just swung over a car, a buried vehicle, like it is just blowing your ears out. But the one that Plugmaster Ford found was actually confirmed that it wasn't a cartwheel. So I was the only one that found a cartwheel on the trip.
Oh, sweet.
So,
yeah.
And then I ended up finding not only one KG2, but I think I found 4, as well as a couple farthing KG2s.
Yeah.
So I was really, when I came away with the amount of buttons that I found, the amount of greenies that I found, and then the hammered and silvers, I tell you, it blew any expectation of mine away. It blew it an absolute way. There's we joked about coming back here, and now we get to get excited about digging a Wheatie or an IHP. Oh my gosh, it's a bullet from 1865. How do I transition back? My expectations from the trip have been skewed slightly,
right?
But just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you found
treasure.
You found treasure, literally treasure.
Yeah, I actually found something that was had to be classified as treasure, which is kind of cool. I mean, I didn't know what I had. It was this little tiny button or something like that, and I knew it was silver. And I pulled it up and kind of squirted it off with some water and showed it to Brandon. And Brandon's been there a number of times. He's been over a bunch of times, and he knew immediately what it was. And he's just like, "Ken, that's treasure." I go, "What do you mean it's treasure?" It's a little silver button. He goes, "No, that's treasure, man. That's a cufflink. That's a cufflink from early on. I can't remember the years, but that's treasure, bud." And I was like, "Oh!" So I squirted it off more, and he gets on the walkie-talkie. His buddy, who's our barn leader, he's like, "Ken's got treasure over here." So they needed the GPS market and all this stuff. They had to come over, and it turned out it was a cufflink that had a crown on it and 2 little hearts underneath it, and it was silver cufflinks that were made to celebrate the marriage of King Charles II and his wife Catherine of Braganza, and in May of 1662. So it was a cufflink from 1662, and since it's older than 300 years old and precious metal and jewelry, it has to be,
and that was the key,
reported
jewelry.
The jewelry had to be reported as treasure. And so I saw the email. Chris copied me on the email to the lady with the, I don't know if she was the flow or if she was part of the antiquity scheme, but he said, this was found on this guy's field at this location. Here's the finder. His name's Ken King. Here's his address, blah, blah, blah. And from that point on, I think they'll communicate with me as far to the next steps go. They'll decide whether they want to keep it, and if they do, then if not, they'll disclaim it, and then I can get it back. But if not, then they gotta put together values on it and stuff like that, and offer a value for it, which I split with the landowner. So, or we can just donate it. My name will always be associated with that from this point forward. So I thought that was really cool. Really cool find.
Yeah. And, beautiful.
Yeah. Really beautiful. Definitely. Once I knew what it was and stuff. And I found another cool, I found a really cool piece of gold gilt jewelry that had a chain on it. And we've found out that that's part of a cloak clasp. Really old. They couldn't date it, but I thought that was really cool. And hammered coin again. That was 1584, 1586, Elizabeth I half groat. Found a bunch of greenies. I found a 1840 Young Vic
milled silver.
Milled silver, right? Was it farthing? Yeah, I think it was farthing. Yeah. And just a bunch of other cool buttons after button after button after button after button after button.
We actually found, I think you and I found 3 of the Royal Artillery buttons.
Yeah.
Those are really cool.
Yeah, the Royal Artillery buttons
1840,
really cool.
1820? What was that? I think it was
1820. 1820s. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're looking at it, and you had it up and down. And I was like, no, let's look at it this way. Like, we're trying to figure out what this button was. Right. And I said, well, turn it, 90 degrees to the left there. I said, that looks like cannons or, a wheel or something like that. And all of a sudden it clicked and we're like, those are 3 cannons right there. And then it took us a second. It's 3 cannonball, 3 cannons, and it's the Royal Artillery. And then come to find out, we had 3 of them between us.
Right. And you had so many gold gilt buttons, man. You just scored on the gold gilt buttons. Yeah. Just amazing.
Yeah, it ended up.
Tony and I would both clean our pines at the end of the day in each one of our room. We had a room right next to each other. We had our own room right next to each other. So we had this little bar stool set up with a towel over it, and we're sitting there with little bowls of water and soap, and we're scrubbing different finds and stuff, cleaning them up. And he'd be like, "Oh, come look at this! Oh my God, look at all the gold gilt!" And I'd run over to his room, and then he'd come run over to my room whenever I'd pull something cool out.
If there was a fly on the wall, I tell you, we score the biggest goober award ever, because the two of us running back and forth, just being all giddy over these finds. I tell you, it was so funny.
My wife already thinks I'm a nerd with this stuff. If she would have saw that, she would have been like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are nuts! You guys are nuts over just the smallest little thing." Oh, dude, you found that face.
Yeah,
we still don't know what that is yet.
That's so ironic you mentioned that. So I had posted that on, I think it was on Facebook, and a friend of mine from back in Virginia had said, "That's so strange." She followed up with me today and said, "Did you ever figure out what that was?" I mean, that was like a week ago that I had posted that, and she followed up. She said, "Did you ever figure out what that thing was?" So it ended up, we went into this. I don't think that field had ever been hunted or wasn't hunted by our group. That was the first time we were in this horse field, and one of the first targets that I dug up, and it was, I don't even know how to describe it. It's probably, I don't even know how to describe it. But anyways, it's made out of copper, and it would have been like a full bust head, rounded head. It was smashed now, but the detail on it, it was some important guy at some point. I have no idea who it is.
We're going to be able to identify that.
I know.
The detail's still there. It was somebody, like some count or duke or something.
Beautiful patina on it. It was green, but details on it. And it's an absolutely gorgeous piece. I don't know how historical it is or anything, but it's a great conversation piece, I tell you. And she had asked, "Did you get to bring that? Did you identify it?" And I said, "No. It had to stay there as well because I wanted them to do the research on it. And then once they send it back to us, hopefully, I'm assuming that they'll know exactly what it was and what it went to, who it was. But what a really interesting piece for sure. Very interesting.
And those kind of things, you love to find stuff like that. Like Brandon found this little human votive figurine that they determined later was Roman.
Yeah.
It was like an effigy of a little human being that was kneeling. The face was all wiped and rounded, and just the arm, like it didn't have hands. It was just kind of like rounded arms and rounded feet. no feet, no fingers, no hands, but just this like carved piece of brass, and all patinaed green, just as green as it could be. And they determined it was Roman, but they didn't know anything more than that. And man, I hope they get to find out a little more on that. You find stuff like that, and it's just so amazing because you know the history, and you're like, this is Roman,
Right.
And then like that Celtic gold comes up, and you're like, these Celtic tribes, these gold little tiny staters and stuff. I think our group pulled 60 pieces of silver for the week. 2 pieces of gold. Jeff Ford, we got that gold finial, little gold finial.
That's right.
They really figured out, little tiny thing, but beautiful. Had all kinds of design on it.
Yeah.
And then 1 gold Celtic stater, and then tremendous amount of greenies and other type of. I think you're the only one who had a hammered copper.
I think so too.
Didn't see anybody else having a hammered copper.
Yeah.
And lots and lots of buttons and lots of pieces of lead and anti-aircraft flak. You get a lot of anti-aircraft flak. You know what? It only took me 2 tries to realize what the legend was telling me about coke in the ground.
Yeah.
I identified that right away. It hit 11 every time on that detector, man. And I may have missed a goodie with the 11s. That's not where the good stuff was sitting in the 11s. It was in the 17 plus, but 11, man, I would just stay off that. You couldn't get me to dig an 11 after like 2 or 3 pieces of that coke. I was like, boy, no one got a rose farthing. I don't think so, Tim.
I don't think so.
Not that I remember, but we didn't see everyone else's finds. We really didn't. Tony and I are both trying to log back into the forums where hopefully Chris puts up the pictures of the finds that he takes, but we're both locked out right now. Like we can't get our passwords to work.
Well,
so we asked Chris to help us out.
I have breaking news. I just got a text message from Seth Newkirk. What is Southern Ohio metal teching, I think is. Yeah. So he just said, did you see what they think your head is? So this is no legit. Way. Yeah. Right now breaking that we have some information on it. So apparently it's on the website. He sent me a picture from the website and it says large hollow copper bust. Could be William IV, 1834.
Whoa!
I'll take it.
And who said that? Somebody from
Seth.
the forums? Oh, yeah, but it was from the forums.
Well, it's on the website, on the Colchester website.
Yeah, right. So we got to get our login.
I didn't post the picture. I think it's Chris's picture.
Yeah.
But he had taken that from day whatever it was. He took that and took pictures of it. So that's his pictures.
Yeah, so every day you go back and you lay out your finds and you kind of pull out the ones you think are the most interesting. And Chris will come and he takes a look at everything. And if he thinks what you pulled out or anything else he sees that's interesting, he'll grab it for that evening and then go back and take pictures of it so he can post it on the blog, on the website, and then bring it back and give it back to you and put it in a baggie. And you do that every night. And at the end of the trip, you put everything in a bag and give it to him, and he collects it, and then he'll send it to you later when he gets the export license. But unless things are claimed and stuff. But how cool is that, man? William II? Wow. And that just pops up right now while we're on the air.
Yeah, and he's not even listening. He goes, I guess I'm live even though I paused the show.
Oh, that is awesome.
So I guess
man.
He is, he's listening. He said work is crazy. All right, so he was listening, but hey, that answers the question. The topic was there. Henry, right. Or what did I say? I don't even remember what the heck I said.
William II.
William IV.
William IV. Okay.
1834. All right, now I got some research to do.
Now tonight. You do got to go learn all about William IV. I don't know if that was William and Mary or what. I thought maybe that was William II. Maybe if it was William and Mary, that's so cool. Now you have to go look up images of William IV and see
and match it up. Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Oh
so
man.
Cool. Teresa wants to know if you'll post the link again, probably the link to Colchester.
Yeah,
I don't think they can see your picture on the Colchester site of our finds.
I don't know where that is.
You got to be a member of the club and go into the forums
to log in.
Yeah. Later, like he ends up migrating them over to the public.
But I can always I can take a screenshot and post it on Instagram or Facebook as well.
Yeah, you should do that.
I know I do have the pictures of the pictures I took of it for sure.
Right.
And I said I would put that on Instagram. I know I have it on Facebook. But yeah,
So
I'll
cool,
put them.
man.
I'll put that. Yeah, I'll put that on there.
So cool.
David Rhodes says he's looking at pictures of William IV right now, and he was only a king for a couple of years. So I'm really interested now. Now that we know who it is, what's the story of the copper bust? Like what was it?
Right.
What is it? Why did they? Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
Top of a sword pommel.
Oh, forget about it. Forget about it.
That's funny. We're gonna start doing all kinds of stuff like that. That's what's fun. You start looking. I wish you had more time to look at our finds, because it was.
Yeah.
You clean up your finds, and I mean you are exhausted. I did 4,000 steps less than 100,000 steps for the entire week. I was at 96,000 steps for the entire week.
That's crazy.
And when you go from, only doing like, maybe 1,000 a day
right.
to, 17,000 a day average, absolutely crazy how exhausted, tired, and worn out our legs were. And so all you want to do after you eat is go to sleep. I mean, that's it. I think I stayed up a few nights and played poker with the guys till 10. We set a time limit at 10 o'clock. And, I did that twice, maybe 3 times, but it was pushing it for me. But you just collapse and absolutely zonked. I'm telling you.
Well, hey, David Rose, I know we're at our time, but we can continue to talk. I'm good staying on a little bit longer. But
Yeah.
David Rose just posted a link. This is our March 2023 finds. So if you guys click on that, you can actually look at the things that we're talking about here. You can see.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it is there.
Click on that
Very
link
cool.
and.
There's your head.
Rob. There, and second item down, there's the copper bust.
Look at him. So much detail.
Yeah, very interesting. But what do we got? We got hammered Richard. Wow, look at that, Richard. Wow. The second hammered silver halfpenny. That's now the one above that. Actually the two of them right below the copper bust. Those are the bullheads. Is that right?
Yeah, those are bullheads. Yeah. 1815,
1816,
and 1816, and 1818.
Yeah.
George III, bullhead, milled silver.
Who found that Royal Navy silver button? Was that Shane? I think Shane found it.
I think Shane found it, right.
Yep. And then yours silver, is right below it.
Right. 17th century silver button reported as treasured in museum. Cool.
As well as the Victorian copper jewelry item. That was yours as well. Look at you.
Oh, there it is. Victoria copper jewelry item. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I heard it was a Cape class, but yeah. So all of our finds are there. You can follow that link. Thank you, David, very much for that. Hey, Buddy even found a fossil.
Yeah,
450 million year old fossil, a sea urchin, echinoid, is what Buddy kept his eyes out open and found that. He came up to me, goes, "I just had my oldest find of ever, 450 million year old." I was just like, my gosh, look at that. So he just saw that sitting on top of the ground. I didn't know you could find fossils. My eyes would have been peeled more. Toy cannons, silvers left and right, hammers all kinds over the place. French buttons, livery buttons, Captain Commander buttons, Victoria silver sixpence, collar studs, matrix seals. Is that your matrix seal on the left there? Is that yours? Or was yours a pipe tamper? Watch winders.
Yeah, I'm not sure. No, that's not mine. That's awesome though. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He doesn't say what it is, but I think that might be my thing on the left down there by those gold buttons. Oh yeah, 1500 to 1700 mount. I think that's my mount.
Okay.
This is cool. I haven't had a chance to see this.
I know.
A lot of bale seals. There's even a Chinese cash coin that was found. Oh, and then what about the East India Company?
Yes.
2 Phantom token, 1764 to 1807. It also shows Vinshu standing. Oh, I'm gonna look through all this.
I know
thing.
this is great.
Protobells. You guys go check that out. Absolutely amazing.
Now I can tell you the my 2.5 shilling is on there.
Yeah.
That's silver, as well as right below it is the Royal Navy Master, the 3 anchors. I thought that was a hospital. Military hospital button, but it says it's a Royal Navy Master or something button. The 3 anchors.
Wow,
that's great. Holy
wow.
cow. There's so much to look at. Like you said,
There is.
This website is an incredible reference.
Oh my gosh, look at the silver Roman coin. Second Roman silver coin sent for ID. So much detail on it. Oh my gosh. Not as much detail as mine, but you know.
Yeah, but this one's real.
Oh man, so much. This is cool because I didn't get a chance to see everyone
I know, I
else's
didn't
stuff.
either. This is great.
Man, we scored.
Yeah. There's
Our
some
group did
incredible
great.
things.
So the gold coin that was found was a 10 to 40 AD Cenobian Celtic gold quarter stater, reported to the museum. Corn ear
Incredible.
and central stock, horse with ladder mane, branch above, classed as rare. And Rob Vines found that. Excellent. Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
What a
Thank you,
trip. Last
David
thing
Rose, thank you for putting up
Yeah.
that link
Yeah,
for
thanks,
sure,
man.
how we could all kind of go through that. Yeah, very, very cool.
Yeah, and I should put that link in the description of the
Yeah.
podcast down below so people can, if you're listening later, you can go check it out. I'll grab that and put it up. Last thing I want to talk about real quick,
Yeah.
our trip home. So trip there was not like the trip home.
No,
No?
it
What was different about it?
well, a lot of things. We had a connection, number one.
It wasn't a direct flight.
Yeah, which if
You
if
waited too long to buy your tickets. If you're going to go, buy your tickets early.
yeah, I talked to Teresa in the chat. She said she's got a direct on both ways.
Excellent.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we had a layover. We went from London to LAX, so it was about 10 and a half hours. And we were an hour late leaving out of London, and we had about 2 hours layover in LAX. Well, you take the hour off. Now we're down to an hour, which is fine, except this is your first port of entry from international flight. What does that mean?
You got to deboard and grab your luggage.
You have to
and
get
then
your
go
luggage.
Start all over again.
You have to get your luggage. You have to go through customs. Then you have to recheck in your bag. Then you have to back through security, and then get over to your gate. But we had an hour to do that.
Yeah, we were running.
Yeah, and we made it.
We did.
Made it.
We're like last people on the plane.
We were literally the last people. They closed the door.
Yeah.
As well as on the 10 and a half hours.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't just you and
We
I.
didn't have an empty seat between us, put it that way. Not only did we not have an empty seat between us, but we had a guy that probably had the widest shoulders that I've ever experienced in my life. I felt sorry for the guy because he was so crammed in there, but he was overflowing into both Tony and I's seats to where, sit, take your left leg, pull it all the way over to your right leg, and then grab your left arm and hold it as far to the right arm as you can. And you see how you're compressed like that? That's the way I spent 10 and a half hours.
I will confirm he had never bought a suit jacket off the rack.
Never.
He was wide.
He was a wide guy. He was really wide.
Shoulders wide. He was.
And we spent all that time with him. And again, luckily he didn't get up and down either. We stayed pretty much.
Yeah, we got up
once
once
the entire time.
We all got up once
and stretch our legs. But
man, I'm cramped against the window. You're cramped into the aisle, getting hit by the cart every time it came by.
Yeah,
it was miserable. It was a miserable 10 hours. I'm not gonna lie.
It really was miserable. And the flight from LA to Denver wasn't too bad.
No,
and
it was the last leg.
Yeah.
You know,
when I walked in, so we left the Birds Farm at 5 a.m. London time.
Right, which is we got up at 4. We got up at 4 London time, which was 10 o'clock Denver time. 10 p.m.
Left at 5, on your van, left at 5. And I walked in at 11 p.m. to my door. So that's 24 hours.
25 hours. Yeah, 24 hours from when you left. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So it was a trek.
Day.
So buy your tickets early if you go. Try to get direct flights. And the earlier you book, the more chance you have of getting direct flight.
And if you can swing it, my suggestion, upgrade to business or first if you can. Huge difference.
Oh my gosh. The business looked amazing.
Yeah.
Had your own little apartment.
Yeah.
We were walking by there looking all lovingly at them like, oh my gosh, this would be amazing. You could totally stretch out and you got your own entertainment system. And, you know, it just was night and day, like such a huge difference between that and where we were in the back squished in with each other. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Ohio Relic Hunter said, sounds like David Banner about halfway into his Hulk transformation.
it totally, like right when the shirt rips, like picture Hulk transforming. When the shirt finally rips, that was the guy sitting.
And he was sitting in between us while the shirt was ripping. It was just like that, just like that.
Yeah. And when he was walking down the hallway, I was like, no,
keep going. He
points right in the middle, and I was like, oh no.
I know. I was thinking, can we trade for like a 14-year-old petite girl or something to sit in between us? Because it was just so uncomfortable.
It was, but it was a packed flight. There wasn't another seat available anywhere.
We got home.
Back. Yeah,
we got home.
Yeah, we're glad to be home. It was definitely time. Like we were tripped out. I think, you know.
Yeah.
Like it was great. Like that last day of hunting, like we had a half day to hunt and everyone fizzled out. Like we were finding a lot on that last field anyways. And
yeah,
I think, you know, we could have hunted 3 more hours, I think, but everyone was kind of like, yeah, I think we're done. Like, let's go get cleaned up and get our stuff packed. And I think we're done. Like everyone really got wiped out by that last day.
And we did mention it, but I did get to actually watch the birth of a lamb.
Yeah. So Tony goes off. We're at this property. I forget what they call it. I think they called it the Black Plague House or something like that.
Plague House. It was in a book written in 1241, I think is the book, and the house was mentioned in the book. So
yeah, it had a moat around it.
Had a moat around the house.
The house. This beautiful old medieval house.
Gorgeous.
And gorgeous. And so Tony goes on like walkabout around there. He's taking some video, you know, for his videos and stuff. He's filming stuff. A lot of sheep. They had a lot of sheep. And go ahead, you run into the landowner.
Yeah. I mean, I gravitate towards the sheep. I love livestock, you know, and we want to put sheep out on the ranch here in Colorado. So I was like, let me go over and just watch them. I ended up running into 2 guys over there, and I start talking about the sheep. And incredible experience, contact with these guys. They talked my ear off, asked great questions, and we hit it off, right? And so we're talking about the sheep, and the one guy goes, "You see that one underneath the tree? They always go over there when they're birthing, when they're going through they're going into labor." And so there's this ewe underneath the tree. And sure enough, I mean, you can kind of see that she lays down and you can kind of see her trying to push. And the one guy goes, in his English accent, which was absolutely hilarious to listen to him talk about it. But he's like, if we don't have that lamb right now, we're going to be out here. It's going to be dark. It's going to be cold. So we need to go push the ewe out from underneath it. We'll corner it, and then we'll take it into the barn and let her have the lamb in a warm environment, and that way it's easier on us as well. So the young kid goes on and just, not pushing, but it's called pushing, but moving her just by, being around her and stuff. And she ends up coming over to the corner. So they corner her. They are able to grab her and they put her on the ground. Well, she's like crowning right then. I mean, the lamb is like, the feet, you just look down and the feet are already starting to come out. So I start.
What does Tony do?
I start recording right away.
I'm camera, like, man.
Oh my God, this is insane! Like I'm 3 feet away from this, right? And so they're both on with the ewe, and the one guy looks up at me, and I nod my head, and he reaches down and pulls the lamb out and clears the airway, slaps it, and this thing starts breathing. And he reaches in, checks, and for a second one, only finds one one lamb there, and he says, "This is life right here." And I just to
what
end,
an experience!
Oh
man.
My Lord! Like to see that was incredible. And I mean, yeah. I was in heaven just because it's livestock, anyways, and I was just what an incredible experience.
Right.
It was really,
when I heard
really
about
cool.
that and saw the video, I was like, man, only you like that, like for something perfect to happen to you on this trip. Like that was perfect. First of all, medieval house,
right.
the plague house, a moat around this old medieval home. You've just got done scoring some killer, items on this medieval fields we're hunting. And then you go and you meet these great guys who just talk your ear off, welcome you in, very warm. And then like the guy even looked up in the video, like, you ready? Like he was waiting for
he knew
Tony to go action or something. And then they did their business, man. It was really cool. Yeah. I'm glad you got that experience, man.
I
didn't know about it until you walked over. You're like,
nobody knew about it.
My trip.
I was over there by myself. Nobody knew about it. It was great. Ohio Relic Hunter said, Tony, did he named it after you? Yeah, they named it the old damn Yankee is what they named the land.
Yeah.
What a great trip, though.
It really was. Yeah.
And I'm glad that we were able to share it along the trip, like Denny was saying, and Dave was saying, that actually people followed us, which was fantastic. And then coming on here tonight, being able to kind of fill in the gaps and the details of a lot of things that we experienced has been great as well.
We're going to get to relive it again next month too. And they asked us to be speakers at our next club meeting and talk about our trip. So we're going to have to get up there and throw a PowerPoint presentation up and talk about it all again. So thanks for listening to us blabber on tonight.
I know.
We're late getting out of here, so we're going to go ahead and let you guys all go. If you get a chance to go to England, tell you what, I know there's a few people organizing hunts for the Colchester Treasure Hunting Club. Metal detecting holidays in England. You can look that up. You can also reach out to Georgia Buddy. Just do a Google search of georgiabuddy.com, like the state, Georgia Buddy. And you can find out when there's also Chicago Ron you can reach out to. He does trips. There's Mindy. There's a few other ones that organize trips, and you can definitely go do what Tony and I just did. It's a lot of fun. So if you got any questions, reach out to Tony or I on social media or whatever. You guys know how to get a hold of us. Would be able to actually had that happen, Tony. I had a guy that's getting ready to go next month with Chicago Ron's group.
Perfect.
A guy named Gary out of Florida.
Okay.
He reached out to me privately and said, "Hey Ken, I know you don't know who I am, whatever, but how about a phone call? Would you be up for a phone call? I got questions about England."
Sure.
So I did. I called the guy, and he was asking me all kinds of the great questions. What about money? Do we get money there? Do we get money in the States? All the good questions. What did you wear? Because he just wants to be prepared. He's from Florida, so he wants to be prepared. So he's getting ready to go. He's gonna have a blast.
I had you to rely on a little bit to help me. So now I know a little bit about that as well. So absolutely, if anybody here or anybody listening on the replay or the downloads, if you have any questions, please, by all means, we'll take calls, we'll take emails, just to help everybody out. Because if we can help you enjoy the experience a little bit more, by all means, we're all in this together. And by gosh, yeah, absolutely, reach out to us 100%.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's get out of here, Tony. Everyone, thanks for listening. Catch us again next Thursday. We'll bring a guest on next Thursday and have another great show. But appreciate all the support out there from y'all. We're really enjoying doing this program, and we'd love to hear from you with any suggestions on how we can improve it. Anything else, Tony? Go ahead.
I'm good. Great time. Okay. Thanks for the experience and the memories.
Yeah, man.
I really appreciate it. It was incredible.
I'm glad you and I got a chance to go because, we're buddies, you know what I mean, and then digging partner and stuff. So for us to be able to go out and experience that together and have that to share, that it's definitely something I'll remember for a while. So thanks, buddy. All right, let's get out of here. Have a good evening, good weekend. If you get a chance to go out and dig, go get the good stuff. I want to go digging again.
I know. Let's go.
All right. See ya.